Wharton Center, Michigan State University. If you haven't been there, you want to stay tuned and find out why you should attend. Thank you for joining us today, Bob Hoffman. It is so wonderful to have you here. We have so much history together, but now we're here talking about one of the most visited places in all of Michigan, and that's the beautiful Michigan State University Wharton Center.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely wonderful. And before we get into, the series and what's happening at the Wharton Center, how did you, Bob, get involved with performing arts and theater and all of that?
It makes me laugh because we used to work together years ago.
I don't know I'm that old.
But I was actually recruited to Wharton Center. I did a lot of entertainment stories, and the former executive director one day took me to dinner and said, our publicist is leaving, but I know who I want to be in that role. And he started describing the person, and I said, are you describing me? And he said, yeah, you're going to get the job. And I said, Bill, I'm in media. He's like, well, I think you'd be really good at it. He's like, how much do you want? I told him a number. Now, this is the life lesson.
Wow.
You always go higher than what you think you want.
You blew it, right?
I blew it. No, but it's good. I've been there literally 23 years, and I don't regret a day. It's been such a great, how can you not help but love to
get to go inside Wharton Center every day for your job, that's got to be really cool.
And you get to be around art, and art inspires, art changes lives. And so it's changed my life for the better. And I see
therapy.
how it's changed. Yes.
It's excellent therapy as well. So
every day's therapy. I love it.
and you need it.
Yes, I do.
I started to say we need it, but everybody needs a little bit of art therapy. It's really good for your soul and good for your mind. So tell us what's happening at Wharton Center.
So our season is starting. Actually, Mandy Gonzalez started her season on September 20th. She was the original in Hamilton. She was the in Wicked and Rosario in the Heights. So this amazing Broadway performer. But our first Broadway show, which I'm really excited about, and I know you are too, because you spoke to one of the actresses, To Kill a Mockingbird, October 3rd through the 8th, follows the story of Atticus Finch, who in the 1930s Alabama defended Tom Robinson, who was a black man falsely accused of rape. Now, the difference between the Broadway show and the movie is the play has Atticus as the protagonist, not his daughter Scout. His daughter Scout in the movie was played by Mary Badham. Mary Badham is in the play coming to Wharton Center, and she plays Mrs. Henry Dubois. So it's a whole, it's a part of history. I'm really excited to see it again. I saw it in New York and loved it. And Richard Thomas is starring as Atticus Finch
wow.
He's many roles. For me, it's the Waltons. That's what I
yes, that's fantastic. And we got an opportunity to talk with Mary then a little bit about. So let's listen now to what she has to say about being here and being involved in that role. That's fantastic.
Hi, my name is Mary Badham, and I was the original Scout in the movie To Kill a Mockingbird. You will now see me as Mrs. DuBose in the new Aaron Sorkin play To Kill a Mockingbird. If you're familiar with Aaron Sorkin's work, he's very fast, very funny. You're going to laugh a lot. Not saying there won't be some tears, but you're gonna have a good night, I think.
So how long have you been involved in To Kill a Mockingbird in the past?
Oh, since I was 10 years old, because it never stopped. I had like a hiatus for a while I was married, and then when I had children, and when my daughter was about 2, Professor Inge from the college invited me to come to talk to his English class. And I traveled the country, going to high schools, colleges, and universities, talking about the themes within Mockingbird, and went with the State Department to Russia. And I've been to England. And so, yeah, it's a very popular book everywhere.
Do you view the arts as important to your health, your community story?
Oh, I think the arts is critical in so many ways. I mean, more ways than we have time to really discuss here. But we need to support the arts, especially with children of trauma or people of trauma. It's a great outlet for them, and it helps motivate them to go on and do other studies. Uh, I really have seen remarkable changes in kids from the inner cities that I've worked with, that um, you introduce them to plays and books and films, and they just come alive. You see them with another outlet, and um, it's wonderful. And children, you put a paintbrush in their hand, and it just makes such a difference. Of course, my big thing is reading, so I really encourage the children to read, and anything. They can start anywhere, because I feel that if they can further their education on their own, if you give them the motivation through the arts, you find something they're interested in, they're gonna dive into it head first, and expand their knowledge. So my two banners that I wave are: ignorance is the root of all evil, and education is the key to freedom.
Wow, that's interesting. So, what motivates you to continue acting? You've been doing this for a while.
Well, I think it's fun. It's a great job. I really love it. I had never done theater before, so this was all new to me, doing theater, and I really love it. Having the interaction with the audience and everything is great. But because it was Mockingbird, it was very special. And whenever I get a phone call or an email to do something with Mockingbird, then I usually, will do that.
Interesting. I love it. So, what would you say to someone who wants to be involved in the theater, whether they're young or old?
Oh, go for it. Go for it. It's so much fun to play with the audience. It's great. Like, some of the venues that we have are smaller, they're more intimate. So you kind of get the full weight of the reactions of the audience. And it's so much fun. But there's so many other jobs. If you don't want to be on the stage, you can be behind the scenes. I mean, we have hundreds of people who support our efforts on stage. You've got people doing lighting and sound and makeup and hair, and business people who handle all the getting us where we're supposed to be, and the managers. And it's to go on the road and travel the country. I have learned so much history of our country doing this show, and been to states that I never would have been able to get to without being on this production. Please come and join us at the Wharton Center, October 3rd through the 8th.
Wow, that was powerful. So, tell us a little bit more about what's happening at Wharton. I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird, October
3rd through the 8th.
3rd through the 8th.
We've got Hairspray coming up, which is in November 28th
Wasn't
through
that at
December
Wharton
3rd.
before?
It has been at Wharton Center before. It's a requested musical. That is, Hairspray is this hilarious musical that won 8 2003 Tony Awards, including the Tony Award for Best Musical.
Wow, it's really upbeat. It's really fun.
It's about Tracy Turnblad, who's this teen who desires to dance on the popular Corny Collins show. But there's some drama involved in it. It's a sweet story. It's a lot of fun. And it's coming back in November. And then we also have, I would say it's the most requested musical we have. And Mamma Mia returns.
Tell me back, what's it, the 4th or 5th time?
Yeah, I think it's the 5th time.
Oh my, so that means that people are watching and coming and they want to see it, because you repeat the shows that...
Every time it leaves, people are like, when's it coming back? When's it coming back? I mean, it's ABBA music. It's such music that we all know, and it's set to a great story, a timeless story about a spirited young bride secretly trying to find out who her father is. So she invites 3 men to the island, a tiny Greek island, that she dated her mom. It's funny, it's good, it's poignant, and you sing along to it because you know the music.
How many people can attend a Wharton event?
So our Great Hall seats up to 2,496 people.
Give or take 2,496.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, that is huge. And for that show to sell out every single time it comes, just about, people need to get their tickets and get them early. And it's a fun, and one of the things I love about music and about the arts is that, there are a lot of people who are struggling with caregiving, with dementia, with just depression or whatever. It just lifts your whole soul, your spirit, your mind. It gets you out of yourself for a minute and allows you to just enjoy a couple of hours of just music, dance, whatever, right?
Our part of our mission is to inspire the mind and move the soul. And I think that's what happens when you come to Wharton Center. Yeah. I think even the shows that you might not necessarily like, you have a dialogue, you have a conversation about them. So I always like that. I always like to personally go to things that challenge me and make me think, or just relax me.
I like to go to things that I immediately start tapping my feet or bobbing my head a little bit, and you do that, or just kind of sitting there with your eyes wide open because you're just so intrigued. And Wharton does all of that. And there are also some discounts that we're working on with AARP and Wharton Center. You see the website at the bottom if you're interested in a discount for this particular show, To Kill a Mockingbird, because you might want to get that little discount and make certain you bring a group of friends, family members, church members, community service, whatever. Just come on to Wharton and enjoy. What else you got going on?
That's absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. We've got Funny Girl coming in February 6th through the 11th. So nice. It hasn't been there since I've been there. So I've been there a long time. So this is the first time it's there. And it is, the first time that it's there since I've been there. I don't know if the history before that, but that's been a long time.
Wharton, one of the things about Wharton, I go to New York quite a bit with some friends, and we see Broadway plays. I can't remember half the time whether it's New York or whether it's Wharton because they're both so similar.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
The experience of Wharton Center, that I always say, is different. It's kind of in your own backyard. Yeah. You can get into and out of a show so quickly because the ramp is there. It's convenient. If you need service, if you need a wheelchair, whatever you need, call ahead and we can plan that for you. We can make your as comfortable as you need to be at Wharton Center.
And you have corporate packages as well for people who want to bring their clients, their members, their customers, or whatever, and do something special.
Yep.
Because we used to do that quite a bit.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. So, take advantage of that. And I know AARP has a corporate rate.
Yes, absolutely.
You've already told people to check it out. Check out your website. Moulin Rouge is coming in April. And then we've got the Broadway show 6, which is really, younger people are going to know this. And I didn't know anything about it until I went to New York. So 6 is the modern retelling of the 6 wives of Henry VIII. But it's in a pop concert
form. That must be racy.
And it's fun, and it's hilarious, and it's quick, and it's like going to a concert. So it's a lot of fun.
How did you find out that Moulin Rouge is coming back? You kind of skimmed right over that. That's been here before as well. So how do you decide which shows to bring in based on audience feedback and requests? But it must be quite a bit of competition to get this kind of top caliber show into East Lansing.
Well, Paula, it's interesting. We go to New York a lot and other places around the country and really world. And Wharton Center has a reputation. East Lansing has a reputation. One of the things about Wharton Center that people love is that it has continental seating and it's comfortable for the audience member. And it's when the audience is comfortable, the star on the stage is comfortable because there's an energy that's passed back and forth. The other thing that makes our theater special is there's so much room backstage. When you go to Broadway, sometimes they don't even have a dressing room for the star dressing. It's a hallway because these theaters are really old. So when they come to Wharton Center, there's some extra benefits to that. And they love East Lansing too. And we have a history of selling really well. So when you sell something really well, people want to work with you. People want to bring people back. And the other thing that I think is true, and you've heard this before, is there's something special about the charm of Mid-Michigan. People are friendly here.
Right. Well, I mean, look at Mary talking with us. How many people do you know in New York on Broadway that would take a few minutes and just come in and
That's
say
right.
hello and chat and talk with us about the history behind her character.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's relationships. That's all about relationships.
Everything's
So,
about relationships,
yeah,
and
it's
people want to
nice.
work with us because they've experienced greatness
right.
here.
Yeah,
So
that's exciting. Very
it
exciting.
just passes off.
So tell us more. I'm excited. Season tickets are on sale.
Yeah, so season tickets are on sale, and actually, it's the only way right now that you can buy tickets to Moulin Rouge. Everything else is on sale, but if you want to see Moulin Rouge, you have to buy that season ticket, and you get that discount. And then for Moulin Rouge, you'd actually get preference seating before they go on sale to the general public. So definitely check into that. Go to our website, whartoncenter.com. You can download video. You can look at the shows that are coming. You can read about the shows. It really is a place that you can find a lot of information.
How many shows do you have in a season? About 10, 8, 9, 15?
Higher. I think we've got about, Paula, literally, we're a rental facility too, so people rent Wharton Center. So I would say from September through May, I would say almost every single night there is something happening at Wharton Center. Shows that I handle, I would say probably 45 to 60, like around that, in our season.
Do you get to meet all the actors and actresses?
Some of them I do, some of them I don't. A lot of the Broadway shows.
Big openings in your...
I know, right? Yeah. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. It just kind of depends. You know who I did get to meet once, who I'll never forget? Tony Bennett. And I think about him because he just passed.
Right.
But he was this amazing man who I happened to be backstage, and I had to go in and give his agent something. And his agent said, well, just come in the dressing room. So I went in the dressing room, and Tony was there. And he's like, hey, what's your name?
You called him Tony? Oh.
He said, call me Tony.
Oh.
And he's like, have a seat. And he wanted to learn everything about me. Like he was like, I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about you. Tell me about you. Where are you from? What do you do? What? And for a star of that caliber to even spend
Absolutely.
a minute with me,
Absolutely.
but it shows his character.
Yeah. And his passion for people, which came out in his music as well.
That was a story that will always stick with
absolutely.
me my whole life. But when you talk about Wharton Center and the shows that we have, the best of Broadway, which we've gone over, performing arts. We have so many great performing arts. So if you're into jazz, if you're into classical music, if you're into
comedy or drama,
we always have something.
Yeah.
So I think whatever your genre is, dance.
Yes.
We have the best dance companies coming to Wharton Center.
You know, one of the things that I love that people may not know about Wharton too is also Michigan State feeds into their program, their performing arts programs feeds into Wharton with the other theater there, so they're able to use some of the resources there, which is really nice because you're growing that next generation of performers that they can actually say, well, I went to Michigan State and I did a play at, it's the other theater, but still that they were able to be a part of all of that.
That's right, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I want to talk briefly about education opportunities at Wharton Center because we reach out to schools, especially Title I schools, and we're giving kids opportunities to come into Wharton Center at either a reduced rate or sometimes we have even free tickets available for them because the arts are powerful, Paula, and if we can introduce young children to the arts, it can change their life. Absolutely. And that's what we want to do. And so we also have opportunities for them. We have a class called Take It From the Top where we bring Broadway performers in the summer, and we have a master class with kids that sign up that want to be on Broadway. We have the Young Playwrights Festival, which is an opportunity for younger kids who want to be playwrights to write a play, and they get their play produced at Wharton Center by Department of Theater students. We have the Sutton Foster Musical Awards where we're working with high schools across the state of Michigan, not just here, but all across the state, where we go in and adjudicate their high school production of a show, and then we pick out of there 30 to 40 kids that come to Wharton Center and compete to go to the Jimmy Awards, which is a national program, the National High School Musical Awards, otherwise known as the Jimmy Awards, where they compete, and oftentimes when they get to that point, they're recruited to Broadway. They're part of Broadway. So we've had students that have been at Wharton Center and have gone to Broadway.
That is outstanding. So tell me about the Jimmy Awards. It's high school competition?
It's high school. So, high schools have their own plays.
Right.
And so we have adjudicators across the state that go and pick out this, and they're nominated actually by their high school and by other people, and our adjudicators look at them and say, Yeah, there's something there.
And you know what I really like about that too, for the grandparents, the parents who are listening, they have a young person who's interested in the arts, interested in theater. This is just an opportunity for them to get a hands-on experience if they can go through that, and just kind of go through the competition, see what it's like. And people follow their passion. I always say it's not always about following the money, although money helps, but it's also about following the passion. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, people talk about the performing arts and they think, well, I want to be an actor. But there's so many opportunities backstage too. And we've had, I have a quick story that tells you about the inspiration.
We got about a minute left. Go for it.
Okay, so we have volunteers that go into classrooms, and a volunteer went into a classroom, third grade class, and one of the students was talking the entire time while the teacher sent him out in the hall. Our volunteer talked to the little kid afterwards, and he said, "Were you not interested in the arts?" He's like, "No, I'm not interested in the arts." And the volunteer said, "What do you want to do?" And he says, "I want to build things like my dad," because his dad was a builder. And he said, "Do you know that it takes a person to build the sets?" He's like, "No." So that classroom came to Wharton Center, and that volunteer took the student and showed him the sets. And that student said, "I want to build sets when I'm older." Like that gives me goosebumps
wow.
because
Yeah,
that's the power of the
exposure.
arts. It's not just about being on stage.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities in the arts.
Well, when I was at Lansing Community College, we used to have that program where people learned how to work backstage in the theater, and
Yes.
it was really valuable. I mean, people being able to
think
set
it's
it
still
out.
going on.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, that's good. I didn't know whether it was or
Yeah.
not, but that there's so much involved in this. Not just what you see, the singing, the dancing, and the speaking, but it's also what happens behind this, because none of this could be possible without that backstage group.
Yeah, and volunteers too. I want to real quickly say, if you're interested in volunteer at Wharton Center, there's opportunities for you. So I think
I want to volunteer.
I would love to have
I
you
just want to
volunteer.
see, I want to meet some of the, I don't want to work, I just want to.
Well, hey, you can interview people,
I
right?
would love to do that.
Yeah.
Just like we did with Mary, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've got about 10 seconds left. Tell us what you want us to know as we close out.
I think the thing that I want you to know is go to our website, whartoncenter.com, and check out all that we have to offer at Wharton Center.
I appreciate you. You're
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. Thanks for being here, and thank you for watching Real Possibilities. So you want to ride the CATA bus? Well, let's talk to Lolo and see what the options are. Hi, thank you again for being with us. If someone wants to ride and they have a particular schedule, ride the bus or Spectrum, and they have a particular schedule, will the CATA show up on time? Will the vehicle show up on time? And will it get them to their appointment on time? How reliable is CATA?
We are actually very reliable, whether you're talking about our fixed route system or our paratransit services. We're not perfect, of course, and there are external factors that could impact our ability to remain on time. So we always ask passengers to think ahead, and if it's really critical, an appointment or getting to class on time, maybe take the scheduled service before, ahead of time, so that they arrive on time and they don't miss out on opportunities.
Just like anyone else, a car or anyone else driving, I'm sure CATA runs into traffic issues and construction issues and road issues and everything else, right?
Absolutely. Trains, going by, and the train guards coming down and waiting in traffic.
But 80 to 90% on-time reliability is pretty daggone good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. So if people want to schedule that service, then they would have to call how far in advance?
2 weeks in advance at the most,
Okay.
but also 1 day in advance. And with some services, it's a 30-minute lead time.
Great. Now, will CATA wait for them? Like if they have a doctor's appointment, or do they just have to schedule a time to be picked up?
They do need to schedule a time for pickup, but we are doing wait stop trips as well. So if you need to maybe run to the bank before your appointment, you can do that. We do have a small window within which you have to conduct your business and get right back on that vehicle.
So you can't just ride around all day?
No, you can't just ride around all day. There's a huge demand for our services.
Absolutely. Well, it's a nice ride if you could do that. So thank you so much for that
Thank you.
information. Appreciate you being here. Hi, Chris. Glad to have you with us again. We talked previously about probate, and if you have a will, you automatically have to go to probate, and if you have a trust, not necessarily. Mm-hmm. What is probate?
Yeah. So probate is a court process where basically if you haven't created your own rule book, the comprehensive estate plan, the courts have, or the government has a rule book for you. And you could end up in probate while you're alive, as well as when you pass away. For example, let's say you get in a car accident and you've never put together your estate plan. and someone needs to make decisions with regards to your care, they're going to have to petition the court to become a guardian. And if you happen to have money, they're going to petition the court to also become a conservator. And the way you avoid that is by having a financial and medical power of attorney. Then also we have probate upon death, and most people are more familiar with that. And most people know they want to avoid it because it's a court process, it's time consuming. By statute in Michigan it goes at least 5 months. And also it's costly. 3 to 5% of any assets going through probate get eaten up in fees.
Wow. So if someone is married, their spouse does not automatically have a decision about their medical condition or their long-term?
Correct, yeah. So there was a situation, Terry Shivo, she was a woman down in Florida. She was in a vegetative state. Her husband wanted to remove her from life support. Her family wanted her to remain. And it became a big court battle that lasted over 8 years. She didn't have any medical power of attorney. So yeah, even if you're married or even if you have adult children, you need to put together at least those disability documents, the financial power of attorney and the medical power of attorney, to avoid the guardianships and conservatorships.
And then they go to probate, or the attorney will then file them upon your...
Yeah, so that will help you avoid probate. We want to stay out of probate. And then to avoid probate upon death, we need to understand estate administration. And assets can pass through joint ownership, beneficiary designation, trust, but if it doesn't pass through one of those first three, then it ends up going into probate. And that's what we want to avoid.
So people need to plan so they don't get caught up in all of this.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rachel Wheelock, and I'm a PA here at Great Lakes Center of Rheumatology. I'm here today to talk to you about osteoporosis and osteopenia. Osteopenia is the precursor to osteoporosis, and osteoporosis is a disease of the bones where we start to lose our bone density and our bones can become brittle. This is important to screen for as it can lead to fragility fractures, which are debilitating and can be very life-altering, increasing medical costs and affecting your daily activities. Men and women should be screened for osteoporosis. We typically start in women after going through menopause, or in people who have had a hysterectomy and are unsure if they went through menopause around the age of 65. In men, we start screening after the age of 70. We also can screen women prior to menopause if there are multiple risk factors that could affect bone health. This is important to screen for as we do have treatment options that can prevent fragility fractures. A fragility fracture is any big bone that is broken after a fall from standing height with very low trauma or low impact. Multiple treatment options are available, including natural things as well as medical therapies, which can be discussed with either a rheumatologist like myself, your primary care doctor, or an endocrinologist. Some risk factors for osteoporosis include having an autoimmune disease like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, or psoriatic arthritis, having an excessive history of caffeine intake, a prolonged history of smoking, and also alcohol abuse can also lead to poor bone health. If you've had any of these risk factors, you should talk to your primary care doctor about having a bone density, or your rheumatologist if you've already seen one.
There's so much going on. Hopefully today you got lots of good information and some news that you can use. Thanks for watching Real Possibilities.